Just wanted to record this real quick. That's the light from my blinds. It just fits perfectly right there. So I'm going to show you guys just pretty much the last part. I used 5-minute epoxy, just the rest of what's in these tubes a little bit on the threads. Then right before it was tightening up, I put some on the plastic piece that goes underneath. So there was a small little gap and things. I was going to make a spacer like paper thin and things. So all I need to do now is actually use, and I tried my UV light, and I'm gonna try it again. Hold on. So I found a pretty good use for some of the glue that I have and things. It could be better glue, but the shoe glue was only like $6, which wasn't a bad deal. So got the last bit here, and then I'm going to just glue the so without the glue only sitting on threads, so by gluing this, it's going to have a lot more stability, and the lens is quite long, the telescope. So that's most of the gluing that I think, and I'm not even 100% sure. Like the thing is, I used some shoe glue, like a dab in each. Um, it's gonna be pretty messy. It needs to be coated with like baking soda or something. But I gave it a little bit more thickness right there, so that at least that's. I'm gonna add, before I use it, I'm probably gonna add some more epoxy. Now I just need to find a good way to kind of store this and let it dry up. And I guess I've been using tape rolls, old tape rolls, and I don't want to really balance it onto like a piece that I'm gluing, things like that. So we got this mini camera. I'm gonna start taking videos, I would say. It has a nice flash just around the shop. I have another camera that I tested around the shop, but some of these, and that camera, this camera, that camera, tablets, but some have different functions for different situations. So let's just say I want to do a sifting, but this camera, this pocket camera, is actually like light and flash to it, and a memory card. It's got a pretty much an off or no name brand memory card, or it's 64 gigabytes. So I could put it. I'm planning to use up as much of the 64 gigabytes, and then if I have to, I could upgrade it to 128 gigabytes. Upgrade it to 128 gigabytes. So with this camera, I could carry it around with my smartphone, and I basically could do it like a sorting video. Welcome to Upside DIY. This small brush right here is just a really good hand brush. Gonna keep that. I have a nut, actually have a longer handle one that goes up to here or something, but kind of like these to help dust off. I just washed these two brushes, and I'm gonna just dip this one, especially the small one, into paint thinner. So that's paint thinner. Let that soak in a little bit, and then I have a few rags here and there. And also there's just this brush that has a little bit on one edge, and this is a lot bigger and things, so eventually it'll start softening up and things, and then I have like a water. This piece right here is actually pretty nice for really fine touch-ups painting, just covering certain spots, I would say. Explaining, I guess. So yeah, this brush, this is probably the finest tip. This was really, it's still kind of stiff, so I could kind of add it to this a little bit. Still a little bit stiffer than, but it used to be pretty much really stiff. And I just use like a random piece of paper or something. These foam pieces, as I mentioned, are going to be pretty useful for touch up, like just some edging situations. I'll just wait and see. I can't wait to Pros or the Pikachu or the Pharaoh. So right here I've got pretty much the other boot, and I actually found a small crack in this, so I'm going to be taking this apart and just trying to spread it a little bit more. And I've got this other boot right here kind of drying up already. I put the pretty much some kind of like a firmer filler type thing, so that it's gonna add a lot of support. I added some support basically to tie this small ribbon so that this sole could actually have some help in gluing together. And then after that, I double checked this boot, and it does show. So for the rest of this silicone, I really don't have too much, except just using it for like a coffee lid or something on YouTube. So I'm gonna also have to fill in this cavity. Should work a lot more stronger and sturdier, so it's pretty much glued in certain areas to give it more support. This is for my mini telescope, and I'm also going to use, like, here's the bottom piece, or the piece that clips onto the phone. I'm also going to use a shoestring on this end, and the telescope's going to attach to right here. I'm going to use a shoestring and also have to tie it or find a way to stick it to the good filler. I just don't want to, it's what I have. I have other adhesive, but there's other ways. But this is what I'm going to use, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so that's how it looks, and then I gotta mix that up and apply it. Alright, so that's how I filled it. I actually used a Q-tip and the finger tips. So that's going to add a lot more stability, and also, basically, yeah, more stability in that piece so that it's not going to break by accident or anything. Then I have more smaller details, but yeah. So I'm just painting in sections, I guess, or just trying to actually I could kind of see a lot more. So I'm going to re-dip that, add some paint thinner on there, and then I'm going to use this toothbrush and clean this off. And sometimes the glue inside the brush is a little tough, so pressing down this way instead of brushing it could help flatten and open up more crevices for the paint thinner to work. So I ended up trying to flatten it as much as possible and dip it back into the paint thinner and things, let that soak, and hopefully repeat it once or twice and then rinse it off. Alright, so that's 2 times, and that should be good enough. And then now I just put it into the rinse jar, and then hopefully it gets cleaned up. And I guess I could kind of do this as soon as possible, so that's just rinsing it off. And yeah, I got well, it's a lot better compared to before I pressed in and all that stuff. It wasn't as smooth, and just right away in like a minute or two of cleaning it, kind of fixed up these brushes. They have a cool little spatula at the end to kind of like press or push or scrape on paint, which is really good. So if you guys seen some other things with spatulas, and I think they call it, I forget what they call it. It's like it's wet paint and then they etch it and stuff. Like the back of this brush seems to work okay, or maybe you brush on some paint and it's a little too thick and stuff. So this becomes a special tool, scratching the paint or something. So just let these brushes dry, and I should pretty much be prepped up into finish painting. I also, besides this helmet holder, I also kind of was looking for something else. I was going to probably make something, but I could probably use these stand-up speakers and pretty much clean up whatever's around there, and have these for just holding the helmet. I might pad it with like a sock or something, and also like these are speakers so that I could actually have music playing while painting a helmet would be interesting. And pretty much clean up whatever's around there, and have these for just holding the helmet. I might pad it with like a sock or something, and also like these are speakers so that I could actually have music playing while painting a helmet would be interesting. So besides that, I've got this suitcase kind of pretty much sitting right here. It's been sitting here, and it's got a lot of my paint, not a lot, but some of my paint supplies. So I wanted to show you guys that footage. And then behind this like sofa that I'm sitting on, there's actually another suitcase with like painting trays, paint rollers. You'll be surprised, like there might be other things, but these suitcases are going to provide like a storage for any special paint items, edgers, rollers, all that stuff. So as soon as I clear up and pretty much finish up a few of my projects and stuff, and even have like a surface, like a pile of I need to even out, I move boxes left or right, just to clear up a space, and then I could work on what's in here, and pretty much have different ways to figure out how I'm gonna get some of these things finished up, touch up painted, then clear coated or glued, repaired, touch up painted, all that stuff. It's really not that bad. If like old products seem useful again, just by gluing things together or patching it up,